Hi students, welcome back. Coming to the next topic in Java programming language is the methods. So methods is one of the important concepts, students. So now let's see what is this method. You all know that it is a general meaning. What is a method? A group of statements. A group of statements into a single logical unit is called as a method. Right or wrong? A method consisting of a group of statement into a single logical unit, we call it as a method. So this is a basic definition. Everyone knows about this definition. So in Java programming language, if we consider a in Java, the methods are divided into 4 categories. Can you guess what are the 4 categories? So first of all, a method is nothing but it is a statement. It is a group of statements that are considered into a single logical unit. We call it as a method. So in Java programming language, the Java methods are divided into 4 categories. Let me write. Method with argument and with return values. So whatever the method is there, so the method consisting of arguments as well as the return values. Okay. Second one, methods with argument and without return value. There is no return value. Only argument is having, but it doesn't have a return value. That is one type of method. And next, method without arguments. Methods without arguments. A method does not consisting of arguments, okay, but it has a return value with return value. And the last one is methods without arguments and without return value. There is no argument and there is no return value. So these are the 4 categories, 4 Java methods that we will use in the Java programming language. So we will discuss each one by one with an examples. So by the end of this video, you will get a complete clarity on how to use the methods in the Java programming language, when to use, which type of method we have to use. Okay, that we will all see. So start with the first one. So what is the first one? Method. So let me write. Methods with arguments and with return values. So let's see. First of all, let's see the syntax. So first we will discuss about the let me write the syntax. Method with argument. Return type, method name, and this is the argument list. Argument 1, argument 2, so on. A group of statements n. This is a method with arguments, okay, and with return value also. So here the return type. A return type here I mentioned. So this return type may be either you can use a primitive data type, or we can also use a reference data type. So I'll explain what is this primitive data type and what is the reference data type also. A method with arguments and with primitive return values with using primitive data type as well as a reference data type. Okay, and what are these? These arguments are also primitive or reference data types. So this is a syntax, a method with arguments and with return values. The arguments are there as well as the return type is also here, it is there. Okay, so let me take a simple example. I'm just writing the code snippet here. Class sample is the class name. Int minimum. Here I'm writing the method. Int, it's a return data type. It's a data type integer. Minimum, it's a method name, and arguments int a comma int b. So a method with arguments. If a is less than b, return a. else return B. So this is a logical snippet. So what I am mentioning here, it is a method consisting of arguments as well as return values. Okay, so this is what type of method is. We usually call it as an instance method. Instance method. Okay, so this type of method we call it as an instant method. Suppose if you add static here, if you add static here, then that type of method you call it as a static. Suppose if you add static, then it is called a class method. If class is not there, then we call it, if static is not there, then we call it as an instant method. And if static is there, then we call it as a class method. So I already discussed about the instance variables and the class variables in the previous video. Okay, so when is the instance variable is created? Whenever the instance variable allocates memory, whenever the object is created. And when is the class variable is allocates memory? Whenever the class is loaded. So the class variable consisting of a static, if that variable is declared with a static, then we call it as a class variable. Otherwise it's an instance variable. So that way I already discussed in the previous video. So if you're having any doubt, just go and watch the instance variable and the class variables in the previous video. And here this is an instance method. So while I'm writing a code, you have to think in different ways. So this is a code I had written. So this is a method with arguments and the return value. So what type of method is it? It is an instance method. Suppose if you add static here, then we call it as a class method. Okay, so let me write, before proceeding with the further, let me give the clarity on instance method. Okay, instance method. So instance method means a method that is defined as a member of a class, then it is called instance method. Instance method. So what I said, a method that is defined as a member of a class. Suppose if it is a member of class, then we usually call it as an instant method. So there are two types of ways to access an instance method. What? There are two ways to access an instance method. Two ways to access instance method. So what are they? First, by using an object. By using an object. So with the help of an object, you can access the instance method. Or by using an object reference. By using an object reference. So these are the two ways to access an instance method. You can access a instance method by using an object. Means in the public static void, just create an object and try to with the help of the, because instance variables can be accessed whenever the object is created. If you want to access the instance method, so you have to create an object. By using an object, you can access the instance method, and by using the object reference also, you can access the method. Okay, so let me explain you with a simple example here. So let me take a fresh page. So the example here, class sample. So I am writing a method with arguments, okay, and a return type. If A is greater than B, return A. So just now I said else return B. Okay, so this is the logic. So if I entered a two variables, if literals, if that one literal is greater than the, if A is greater than B, then print return A value, else return B. So public static void main. So simply writing this code, no use. You have to be accessed by using object or by using object reference. This is a method. So this method can be accessed. This is an instance method. This instance method can be accessed by using an object or an object reference only. String arguments. Okay. So now int x is equal to, so I am taking int, I am creating an object. This is an object reference. I am taking an int x because a return type is there. Int x is equal to new sample, sample is my class name, dot, I am accessing method, instance method 44 comma 56. Okay, so this is what type of accessing is. It is by using an object reference. So this is an object, objects or not object reference. By using an object, I am accessing the instance method. So this is my instance method. I am accessing this instance method by using an object. So new sample is my object. New is a constructor. Sample, it's a creating an object. Okay, so new sample dot max, so accessing an instance method. So where I have to store a return value is there. So the value, whatever the maximum value is there, that will be copied into the object reference x, and the return type is integer. Because the return type is there, so you have to mention integer. Suppose the return type is not there, you just simply read, no need to mention anything. So int x is equal to new sample dot max 44 comma 56. So it just check 44 is greater than 56. Okay, is it true? No, it is not true. So it returns the b value. So what is the b value? So 56. So in this, in the maximum 44 comma 56, maximum value is a 56. That is going to be printed. So this is the one way you can call. So whatever the value that is returning, that you have to be print, right? So in the object reference, the value is going to be stored. In the object reference, the value that 56 is going to be stored. Now try to print that address, hash code system.out.println. So I'm just calling the hash code. In that particular hash code, a data will be there that is going to be printed. So this is one way. And next, another way of calling this is by using object reference. So int y is equal to, so first let me create an object, object reference. Sample d is equal to new sample. Okay, and int y is equal to d dot maximum of 44 comma 56. System dot out dot println. Out dot println. So the y. Okay, so this is where, this is by using object reference. So by using object reference. So these are the two different ways of calling the program, calling the instance method. So by using an object I am calling, and by using an object reference I am calling here. Okay, so this is about the instance method. So you will get a doubt when to use object and when to use an object reference. So when you're going to use an object, and here I have mentioned two syntaxes, when I have to use the object and when I have to use the object reference, you will get a doubt. So the only thing I mentioned here, I'm going to explain here. Use an object. When to use an object? Use an object to access instance method if it is required only one time. If it is required only one time. So when if you want to access only one time, so one time execution, then go for the object only. Okay, then use an object reference. Use an object reference to access instance method if it requires more than one time. If it required more than one time. Okay, so just remember this point, when to use an object and when to use an object reference. Suppose if you want to access the instance method, whatever the method is there, that it is this here the mention instance method. If this method, if you want to call only once, then go with an object only. Okay, suppose if you want to access this instance method more than one time, then better to refer the object reference. Okay, use the object reference. So this is the way you have to be call the instance method. Let me explain you one more example. So this example, so far whatever you had seen here with arguments, a method with arguments and return value using primitive data types. Now let me explain you the reference data type, how to use the reference data type. So let me take the example. Example, class, sample. In the next video I will explain by taking some more programs in notepad and try to execute on the system. So by taking a different examples on the method with arguments and with return values. So first here try to understand the code, and in the next video you will get how to compile and run the programs. So I taken now I'm going to explain how to use the reference data types. Int add element. So this is a reference I'm taking here. This is a reference. So far I had taken only the primitive data types like argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, means int a, int b, int c, like that, primitive data types. Now I'm taking the reference data type. Reference data type. So a method with arguments and with return values by using reference data types. Int total is equal to 0. For I'm taking the enhanced for loop. First let me write the program, then I will explain. So return value is there, return total. Okay, so I'm not closing the class here, and here I'm writing the public static void. Okay, so int I is equal to, I'm just initializing the reference variable, whatever the variable I'm the int I 2456. Sample d is equal to new sample. I'm creating an object and I'm calling with a object reference. Int x is equal to d dot, I'm just calling the method with an object reference. D is an object reference, right? This is a sample is an object, D is an object reference. So with the help of object reference I am calling, because if I want to use the multiple times, better to go with the object reference. D dot, call the instance method, add element I. So now try to print that whatever the value that is there. System dot out dot print ln x. Okay, so this is a program. So here the concept is a method is called with a method with arguments and with return value by using the reference data type, not the primitive data type. So here I use the reference data type. So whenever first a class is loaded, open brace executed, class is loaded, open brace executed, controller comes to the public static void main. Okay, public static void main. So first it is going to allocate a memory. So allocate a memory to the array. So and enters the value, initialize the values 2, 4, 5, 6. So this is an, what is this? This is an int object. Int object. Okay, so with the reference what? I. So with reference I. With reference I. Okay, so this I. Now new dot sample object is created. D dot add element. So add element means the controller will goes to here. Okay, it goes to here. So whatever the I is there, that will be assigned to the A. Okay, so whatever the A reference, that it is accessing this array. Okay, so first A value. What is the A value? A of 0. First total is initialized to 0 and the B is there. So first A total is 0 And what is the B value? So A is sent to the B. So A of 0, that is 2. 2 will occupied into the B. So total 0 plus 2, 2. Okay, now the total is 2. Again the controller goes back. It won't print the return total. Again controller goes back. It's because it's a for loop, enhanced for loop. Now what is the value of B? So the B is, what is the value of B? So next the value of A of 2. Okay, so 0. Now it consisting of 4. Next location. This is 0, 1. Next A of 1. 4 will be copied into the B. So now 4 plus 2, that is a 6. 6 will be coming here. Okay, again controller goes. Now A of 3. So A of 2. A of 2 means 5. Okay, so 6 plus 5. Next 11. So now it becomes the 6. So 11 plus 6, 17. So finally the 17. So whatever the written total, so again controller comes back to here. So this value is going to be printed, 17. So this is the way the program is executed. So here what you have to understand is, the main concept here is, I use the method with arguments and with return values. So in the previous example, I had explained a method with primitive data types. This is a primitive data type. A method with primitive data types. So integer. And here a method with a reference data type. So try to understand how to access the reference data type, how to access the primitive data type. Okay. So in the next video, you can see how to execute these programs in the IDE. Okay. Thank you.